It is confirmed that a new Need for Speed game is on the horizon, expected to be released later this year. The next Need for Speed will bring some of the old classic traits of previous Need for Speeds, as well as bring some new and interesting additions to the franchise. To get you up to speed, the new Need for Speed was supposed to be released last year. However, because of developers' Criterion's involvement in the sheer size of Battlefield, plus the C word I can imagine, the game was held back a year. After some info was leaked about the upcoming title, I've gathered it all up and now I'm going to tell you all about them, and give my own personal opinion on them. So let's get started. Hey there, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's only the start of the video and the actual video itself hasn't even started yet, so I'll keep this short and sweet. I would really like it if you subscribe to this YouTube channel. And I also recommend that you hit that bell icon so you are notified about any new videos, but ultimately to praise the algorithm, I would really like it if you like the video as well. Anyway, let's get back to the show. It appears that this year's Need for Speed will appear in a new city, like always I guess. And just like always, they will be following previous traditions, and so the new Need for Speed's location will be based on a fictionalized version of a real city in the USA. For example, in 2015 we got Los Angeles, in 2017 we got the Las Vegas replica known as Fortune Valley, and in 2019 with Need for Speed Heat we got the quite frankly brilliant Palm City, which is based on Miami. The new city, apparently called Lakeshore City, is based on a fictionalized version of Chicago. We were in Chicago in 2011's Need for Speed The Run for a very brief moment though, but I will also say those levels that were in that game were some of my favourites. Like there was bits where you had to basically race through the city itself, and then you were chased by like an attack helicopter. It was really fun, kind of dumb, but at the same time I really enjoyed it. It's probably the best moment of the whole game. But yeah, let's hope this new city is as good as Palm City and previous Need for Speed cities. As for features, there's not a lot that we know about, but what I do know that is believed that customization is coming back, which made a big important part in the previous Need for Speeds, like 2015, Payback and Heat. This will be returning as this was very popular by the players. This is a relief because I know that Criterion titles of the past don't have customization, so it's nice to see that they're keeping the things that worked with the Ghost era of Need for Speed games. There are one or two concerning things, which I'm going to mention in my next point. Graphically, it seems that the next Need for Speed will be focusing on photorealistic graphics, which is very good. Now it is unsure whether this will be using the Frostbite engine or not. I can imagine that it will be, but you never know. However, there will be an anime element into it. Yep, you heard that right. That anime. I'm going to be honest, I'm very concerned about this, but it seems that they're going for a kind of mixture between realism and not so realism. I know Toyota had made an advertisement recently, and where they had the new GR86, but they also had, like, it was being driven around in the same world as Initial D, which was an anime that was released in the late 90s and ended up in the mid 2010s. And basically they're just going to combine the two together. So we'll be expecting like anime style smoke and fire and kind of light trails, which I'm not going to lie, I'm fairly interested to see how that works out. I don't think it's going to do a good job, but let's hope Need for Speed can prove me wrong. Up next we have Autolog. This was one of Criterion's new features that was brought in. Autolog was basically the name they gave the multiplayer sort of system that was in the previous Need for Speed titles, but it was based around kind of leaderboards. So let's say you've set a lap time around a certain track, Autolog will remind you to say that your friend has beaten it, so you have to basically go and beat it again. It was quite addictive when I used to play it back in the day, especially in Hot Pursuit. But this does give us a hint that we could be seeing more of a multiplayer element like in the previous Need for Speed titles. The Ghost era Need for Speed titles, as great as some of them were, their multiplayer just lacked. And sometimes when a game doesn't have that kind of good multiplayer support, it means the game gets boring quite quickly. It doesn't change the game at all, and once you complete the story mode and buy the nice car you want, you basically stop playing it. But yeah, as for Criterion's titles in the past, they've heavily relied on multiplayer gaming, which is fine, but it also meant that like single player campaigns and other kind of features for the loners out there were basically ignored. And let's just hope that this time around they can get a good blend between the kind of stories of like Heat and the type of gameplay that it had, as well as the multiplayer for Most Wanted 2012. We could be in for a bit of a treat. So yeah, although we don't have a lot of information on this game, we do have enough to get a general idea of what Criterion have in store for us. However, I will admit that although Criterion have made some great games in the past, the Burnout franchise for example is brilliant, and they made a few decent Need for Speeds, I think in the eyes of a long-time fan like myself, and probably you too, the Criterion era Need for Speeds had a bit of an identity problem. Obviously 2010 was probably one of the best of the Criterion era Need for Speeds. It was a bit different to the previous Need for Speeds before, which is quite good to be fair, and it was very fun to play through. Although I don't like Break to Drift, it did work really well at this game. And the cars sounded great, like the Zonda Cinque was probably one of the best sounding cars in that whole game. And the online in it was brilliant as well, like especially the hot pursuit modes. And then we had Most Wanted 2012. Then we had Most Wanted 2012, which was an absolute insult of a Need for Speed game, and especially to the Most Wanted title. However, the multiplayer in it was second to none. It was literally a type of racing game that literally anyone could have played. However, it lacked your usual progression system and every car was unlocked from the start. That just stinks, like just have it. And the multiplayer in it, like I said, was that game's strongest point. And I will say that Criterion have made much better polished products compared to the Ghost Need for Speeds. Like obviously 2010 and Most Wanted, when they were released they were trouble free for the most of it. Meanwhile, when Ghost came along, there was Rivals, which was an absolute dumpster fire when it came out. Then there was 2015, that was still playable obviously, but it did have a few teething issues. Same goes with Payback and Heat of course. And also I am a little bit worried regarding the kind of time crunch that Criterion have. Sure, it's been 3 years since Heat was released, but at the same time Criterion have had their minds elsewhere. Like they've been working on the Star Wars games, but they also worked on the new Battlefield, which was one of the finest and highest rated and trouble-free Battlefield games of all time. But hopefully Criterion can maybe with the help of Codemasters as well, because they're now under the EA umbrella, they could create a new golden era of Need for Speed. So what do you think? Do you think that this is an interesting new direction for Need for Speed? Are you excited, or are you as nervous and concerned as I am? Whatever opinions you have, just leave them down in the comments below and I'll get in touch and I'll reply to you and I'll see whether you agree or disagree with me. And before you go, please hit that like button. Even if you didn't like the video, just dislike it either. I don't really care too much. I still see it. You mightn't, but it just helps me to kind of gather feedback for my future videos. And if you like and subscribe and these videos do well, I'll just make more of them. And so yeah, that is all from me. Stay safe out there and I hope to see you all very, very soon.